Hi everyone, hello, nice to see you. Hey, I am jumping on this afternoon, so I'm just doing a real staple in our household, and I wanted to share it. We're going to have a doing a chicken tonight, and I wanted to do something that we have some dippy bread with it, and so I'm actually using, this is a staple, it's a recipe called Pizza Bianca. And it is such a beautiful staple, and it's so easy to make. You only need just a few ingredients, and it's super quick. And I'm just going to show you how to roll the dough, how to rise the dough really super quickly, and also I'll show you actually how to roll the dough for when you're making, if you wanted to turn them into bread as well, to make little bread balls. So yeah, so say hi for watching if you're watching. Hi Linda, lovely to have you here. So so if you haven't tried this recipe, please give it a go. It is so easy, and it is, as a consultant, it's actually one of the staples that we show everybody because it's such a favorite. Okay, so all we will need, I've got the recipe here, all we're going to need is some garlic, which I've got, which I love, as everyone knows. I've got some rosemary here as well. Just going to need some water, some raw sugar I've got, some yeast, just need some yeast, some baker's flour, and a little bit of olive oil as well, and then some sea salt and some measuring spoons, and we're right to go. All right, if you've got any questions, please shout out as we go. Now, the first step in this recipe, it actually says preheat to 220, so I'm not going to actually worry about that one. Oh, hey Karen, hi, nice to have you here. I'm not going to worry about it. It's a little bit of a tip. So with this recipe, it does actually require the bread dough to actually rise for about half an hour. So if you've got a slow oven, by all means, whack it on right now at 220. If you have a fast oven, then yeah, look, just don't worry about it. Wait until it's been rising for at least, well, however long it takes for your oven to heat up, and then you can put it on. It just saves a little bit of power as well. Oh, hi Elaine, lovely to have you here. Thank you everybody for joining me. Okay, so apart from heating up the oven, which we will do in a sec, is we're going to grab a baking tray. Okay. Pretty easy step, but in case you haven't seen it, so this is your baking paper. I don't know if anyone's ever seen it. It always springs out. Be really tough with your baking paper. Scrunch it up, and then when you come to flatten it out, see how it behaves itself and it stays where it's meant to. Isn't that awesome? So we're going to put the baking paper in. Also, what I want you to do is, if you are following along this recipe, is I want you to turn the kettle on now. So I'm just going to flick the kettle on, and that's not in the recipe, but it's a little trick. Okay, I'm going to show you in a second. Okay, so 2 garlic cloves. So if you're anything like me and it says 2 garlic cloves, well, 2 garlic cloves definitely mean 3 garlic cloves or more. So yes, so just going to pop in our garlic cloves. Normally I have mine all peeled and gorgeous and sitting in the fridge ready to go, but I've used them all. So I'm not sure if anybody else, does anyone else throw heaps of garlic into their recipes as well? I love them. And if you haven't seen, if you want to know how to peel your garlic in 10 seconds using your Thermomix, check out my video as well. It's super quick and easy. Okay, so 2 or 3 garlic into there. Rosemary. All right, so this is my rosemary. Just instead of just throwing it in, you can actually, I don't know if anyone's seen this as well, holding up on top there, you can just actually shred your rosemary just by holding onto the top of it like that. So hold it onto the top and then bring it down like that. Okay. There you go. So I pop in my rosemary. Excellent. And there we go. Now we're going to put the lid on. So I'll just show you before I go. There we go. So there's our rosemary there. Rosemary and garlic. It's going to go for 4 seconds, speed 7. Here we go. You just grab a little bowl, because what we're going to do is we're actually going to scrape down the sides. We're actually going to scrape out. Just going to have a quick look at it. Oh, look at that. Isn't that awesome? So we are going to scrape down the sides. Now, if you think it needs, oh, the smell, oh my god, how good is that smell? Rosemary and garlic. So what I'm going to do, the next step, so next I'm actually going to give it another little blast. If you think that it's chopped up all fine, you really can skip over this next step. It's 4 seconds, and it just ensures that everything's been cut up finely. So what we've made, this is actually going to be sprinkled onto the top of our focaccia. So isn't that awesome? Isn't that awesome? Okay, so we're going to use this to sprinkle on the top. I'm going to pop it into a little bowl. So we're saying next, and it says transfer into a bowl. I love how the Thermomix tells us everything. Now, don't be too fastidious about cleaning the bowl, because everything that's left in the bowl, although that's pretty good, but everything that's left in the bowl is actually going to go into the dough as well. So, yum. You can actually leave a fair bit in there as well if you want to. Okay. Oh, I'm just going to grab some water. Since okay, it's 220 grams, so if I'm good, if I'm not pouring it everywhere, which I am, going to 225, perfect. Next, normally I use the kettle, but I've just boiled my kettle. The reason I've boiled the kettle is we're going to be using the kettle, the boiling water, to actually rise our bread dough. So if you haven't boiled your water, make sure you do that first, okay? So teaspoon, do you like my pretty rose gold? Aren't they beautiful? I'm in love with my rose gold. These are the measuring cups on the mix-it shop. The measuring spoons, sorry. Aren't they pretty? They're so pretty. They're all brand new and I'm excited about them. Okay, so teaspoon of raw sugar, that is optional. Okay. Now we're going to pop in some dried yeast. Now, you can use fresh yeast as well if you want to. So it's 2 teaspoons. Now I do put in a good heap and just want to sprinkle it around. Just make sure when you pop it in, you just kind of sprinkle it around the water. Don't try and just throw it right into the center. Try and keep it on the blades. But yeah, or you can use fresh yeast. Use about 20 grams of fresh yeast if you prefer. So next, all right, put our lid on. So next, so it's going to go for 2 minutes, until 37 degrees and on speed 1. Okay. Now, if you wanted to speed up this recipe and speed up this step, you can actually have warm water and pop the warm water into there as well, okay? So rising your bread dough loves that 37 degree temperature. The reason for that is it activates your yeast, okay? So it actually uses the yeast and activates it within your bread dough. You can, if you don't, for whatever reason, have warm water and you've got a bit of time on your hands, you can also use the warm-up function. So in the TM6, there's the warm-up function. You pop your water in, click on 37 degrees, turn on your warm-up function, and it'll actually warm it up for you as well. So I'm not sure if you guys have tried the warm-up function at all on the TM6. If you have that, it is phenomenal. It is fantastic. And I know we're all about it seems to be all about bread making at the moment. I've seen lots of beautiful loaves of bread, and I'm going to be making a beautiful loaf of bread as well shortly. But one of the steps is to put in your water so that it's at 37 degrees. And it's kind of one of those recipes where it loves being at 37 degrees. You can use your warm-up function to do that. Okay, as soon as you see your water is at 37 degrees, okay, which you'll see there's a little tiny number that pops up on the top. So you've got your big number and then your little one. You can actually stop it by pushing the selector, okay? So it's up to 37 degrees. All right, flip it over. So now we're gonna pop in some baker's flour, okay. I'll just decline that message, there we go, okay. So, now, this recipe says 400 grams. I actually always just go a little bit over. So I put in about 420. There we go. The reason, and I'll explain myself in a second why I do that. So, here we go. 422. Pop that aside. Okay. say next. Okay, pop in some olive oil. So 30 grams of olive oil. And try and be pretty accurate with your olive oil. But if you're like me, you always go over. That's okay. I always say, please try and be accurate. And I am the worst person for being accurate. But you can do that too. So, okay, pop the lid on. All right, this is the fun part. Okay, so now it's gonna go for 2 minutes and it's going to activate the kneading function, and all you do is just turn your selector and off it goes. Okay, so now you can take your measuring cup off. I'm just gonna slide this over so you can see. This is where I say, if you've got a slidey board, make sure you take it off before you're using that for your kneading function, because you'll see towards the end of it, you'll see it really start to shake. Okay, but the kneading function, it just fascinates me. Still to this day, 5 years on. I think it's amazing. Okay, so the kneading function, and what it does, okay, it's actually activating and getting all that yeast, the yeast and the flour and the oil and the salt and beautifully rolling all around. I'm going to grab a thermomat, so hang on 2 seconds. Okay, these are my thermomats. Move this off to the side. Let's swap it around. Okay, so these are my thermomats. So the thermomats are fantastic. These are silicone, and you can actually get them in the mixer shop, or they are available as a host reward. Or for anyone, oh my goodness, I don't know whether anyone's seen the current offer to be potentially be a consultant, but you get these, you get so much for free. Oh my gosh, if you've ever thought about being a consultant, please shout out. Like, as a consultant, you get a thermomat, you get a thermoserver, you get a carry bag, and everything included as well. So it's awesome. But anyway, yes, so your thermomat's fantastic for raising bread dough. Let me just pop that in there. Okay. You don't have to flour your mat if you don't want to, but it just makes it a little bit easier. There we go, and say next. All right. It's always still an aha moment. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? And it's still warm, like it's actually at 37 degrees, and it keeps it at 37 degrees. Okay, so what I do is I tip my bowl over and actually turn the wheel on the bottom. So it's turning the blades, and it just means that when you take it out, see what happens? Isn't that awesome? So the bread dough, like the dough comes out really cleanly. There's no fishing around inside the bowl trying to get all the gooey dough out. All right, so wrap that up. Wrap it up like a little parcel or like a nappy. Not too tight. Okay, and 1 second. This is where we're going to use our rising bread dough trick. Okay, so I'll just move my thermi over there for a second. So if you have a thermoserver, this is where you can grab your thermoserver. Okay, they are fantastic. They are like a thermos for your food. So literally pour the water into that. If you don't have a thermoserver, don't despair. You can use a Pyrex dish or something like that that will hold it. Okay, so I put in about 1 inch. You'll hear it go dunk in a second. Okay, put in about 1 inch of water for about 2 centimeters. See the steam? Put your varoma over the top. And you see the steam still coming out, okay? And then pop your dough inside, just like that, okay? And pop the lid on. so it's nice and secure. Okay, so what that's going to do, it's actually going to rise your bread dough in about half an hour. So normally it would take about an hour, I suppose, for about an hour for the bread dough to rise. But or you could find a nice warm place in the house if you had one. But if you don't have a nice warm place in the house, you can see I'm wearing my scarf. It's a bit chilly. Even by Queensland degree, it's a little bit chilly. But yeah, pop it into your thermoserver over your thermo, and it will actually rise your bread dough. So it will steam that in there. It's just enough to help accelerate it. So it'll be super, super quick. All right, I'll pop this over here. Okay. Once it's done, and you know that it's done, so check it in about half an hour. Okay. Once it's done, and you'll know it's done, you can, because it will be exploding out of the thermomat. Okay, you can put it onto your mat. Okay, so onto the paper. Spread it out. So depending on what you wanted to make, like if you were making pizza doughs, you can absolutely roll it out. If you're making focaccias, spread it out in an oval, like, you know, the stereotypical focaccia base. Spread it out. You can even do balls as well, like if you wanted to do burger rolls or something like that, you could do that as well. So spread it out, and then with your with the garlic and your rosemary, you can sprinkle it over the top, drizzle a little bit of oil, and then you're ready to go. I do tend to let it have a little proof for about 5-10 minutes if I can, before I put it back into the oven. Okay, for that final cook. The cook will go, or it'll tell you it's at 220 degrees, and it drizzle for about 10-20 minutes, depending on how fast your oven is. Okay, so keep an eye on it. If you've got a fast oven, it's about 10 minutes. And you're done. Okay, so there you go. If you've got any questions, let me know. I would love to see if you make it, and I will be jumping on and making some extra little things. So I hope that helps, guys. And yeah, let me know if you make it, because I'd love to see what yours turns out to, and I will definitely take a photo at the end and show you how mine turned out as well. So thanks, guys, for watching, and I will see you very soon. Okay, see you. Bye.